Pipeline proactivity. Yeah, not again the most exciting work to talk about in the diversity space, but this is the really important work and the work that we can be doing now to stay out of the crosshairs of external challenges, per se. So, what I might recommend, a couple of things to think about. One, we have to start this conversation way earlier. I realize several years into my business that teaching middle-aged people about inclusion and allyship, while impactful, could be far more impactful if we started the conversation as young people. And I've learned through my own experiences with my daughter that she expects inclusion, that she sees diversity, and that conversation isn't to be shut down or shamed or ridiculed. It's really meant to be curious and to come at it from an allyship perspective of like, oh, you notice differences. Of course. Yeah. Why are people treated differently for things outside of their control? Let's talk about that instead of shun or quiet as we often do. Kids are curious, meet them where they're at. Because bias is pretty well baked by age 12. We actually have a really good window from age 10 to 12 where kids are recognizing their critical thinking skills are starting to come online. They recognize differences. They have more maturity emotionally to talk about things that are hard without feeling like we have to overly protect them. So we can get really clear about biases and the ones that are often based on outdated stereotypes or things that just really aren't accurate of today's society. For example, that most people think that women are caregivers. Not always true. Not all women have children. Not all women want to have children. Not all women have people in their lives that they care for. Men are caregivers as well. And so debunking some of these stereotypes early on can create a more inclusive environment in the workplace later. In fact, one of my clients has a STEM program. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. Sometimes there's an A for art as well. And they go into high schools and middle schools as a technology company to teach kids, especially girls that might not find themselves in those STEM areas because of stereotypes. And they proactively encourage gender inclusion and folks that have different lived experiences. There's a lot of socioeconomic privilege that comes with those career areas as well. And there's no one type of person that's good at technology or engineering, but if you look at the folks that excel in those careers, it does look very one-dimensional, which isn't exactly reflecting the consumer base and the communities we hope to serve, or certainly the employees that will most certainly be applying for our jobs and looking for opportunities at our organizations. So we can do better. We can start earlier. We can have these conversations with kiddos. And if you're curious, I have a nonprofit, the Little Allies, that supports just that. So we have online curriculum and a children's book that can facilitate that conversation. And it might feel controversial right now to talk about these issues, but we know Gen Z is coming in hot into the workplace, much like my generation, the millennials, did. And much like each younger generation that's entered the workforce, millennials, now Gen Z, and Gen Alpha as well, there's an expectation for change, and they see problems that could be solved, and inclusion is definitely one of them. It ranks very high on their list of considerations when applying for jobs. So, as we think about a looming global labor shortage, AI will not be able to create enough efficiency to fill the jobs that baby boomers are leaving, and we don't have enough younger workers to replace older workers. We are going to have to address the needs of younger generations more swiftly than we have in the past because they have more power because of lower unemployment rates and labor shortages. So think about how could we start the conversation now so that we're seen as kind of a beacon of inclusion later when they want to come work at our organization or do business with us as consumers or community members. So the conversation starts earlier. Know that this is legacy work. In kind of wrapping up the book series, I really want you to think about what is that ally why? What's going to make you show up when the days are hard, when the controversy looms unnecessarily? And for me, it is about future generations and wanting it to be more inclusive for them and really buying into that as my allyship legacy that I hope to create as a world that was more inclusive than the way that I found it or experienced it. So dial in on that why. Think about techniques you can use individually and with your team. Think about how you can bridge these gaps in organizational systems level with some of the not so exciting, but really important and impactful systems work that can leave future generations in a more inclusive state than you perhaps found in the workplace. So the work continues. Stay engaged. If nothing else, think about the water from a different perspective. We're swimming in different currents, we're feeling different temperatures. The workplace is different for different people. And how can we meet our allies where they're at and want them to lead inclusively as allies? So thanks for joining the book series. Really thankful for y'all. We'll be returning with guests in the coming weeks. So stay tuned. We'll have new experts in future episodes.